Abraham Lincoln's famous beard was often the subject of humor during his presidency. One story goes that a group of politicians, trying to embarrass him, asked him to remove his beard for a meeting. Lincoln, unfazed, replied, "I'll remove it, but only if you gentlemen agree to wear your hair as long as mine." The group, realizing the absurdity of the request, quickly dropped the idea. Despite his literary fame, Dickens' own life was marked by hardship. However, one amusing incident occurred during his early years as a writer. Dickens was struggling to make ends meet and was forced to pawn his clothes to pay his rent. One day, while walking down the street, he was stopped by a constable who accused him of being a vagrant. Dickens, in his usual wit, replied, "I'm not a vagrant, sir, I'm a writer, and I'm on my way to write a novel about vagrants." According to an anecdote, Adam Sandler made a fan's day by surprising her at a coffee shop. The fan, a young woman, was having a tough morning and was feeling down. Sandler, who was in the shop, overheard her talking about how much she loved his movies and decided to make her day brighter. He walked up to her, introduced himself, and started chatting with her. They talked about his films, and he even signed a DVD for her. The woman left the coffee shop beaming, feeling like she'd just won the lottery. Arthur Conan Doyle, the famous author of detective stories, once came to Paris. He hired a cab at the railway station to go to the hotel. "What hotel would you like to go to, Mr. Conan Doyle?" asked the cabman. The writer was greatly surprised. "How do you know my name?" he asked. "Well, it's simple," the cabman said. "The other day I read in the newspapers that you would probably visit Paris. Then I noticed that your suit was made of good English tweed." "Wonderful," said Conan Doyle. "You are a born detective." "Thank you, sir," the cabman replied. "But another fact also helped me to identify you." "What is it?" asked the writer. "You see, your name is written on your luggage." Thomas Gainsborough, one of England's most famous 18th-century painters, discovered his talent in an unusual way. As a boy he lived in the country and once, while walking near his father's house, he saw a thief climb over the wall of a neighbor's garden. He had a look at the man, went back home and was able to draw a good likeness of the thief. When Tom's father heard the story and saw the picture, he took it to the police at once. It was such a good likeness that quite soon the thief was caught and punished. Goethe once wrote a very long letter to one of his friends. In the end he added a postscript explaining, "I am very sorry for sending you such a long letter, but I did not find enough time to write a shorter one." Once an editor rejected a story of Isaac Asimov and called it meretricious. The word is from the Latin meretrix, meaning prostitute, so that the implication was that Asimov was prostituting his talent and was writing a bad story. That would get by on his name alone because he was too lazy to write a good one. Later the story was sold elsewhere and received considerable acclaim. Swallowing his annoyance, Asimov said mildly, "What was that word you used?" Obviously proud at knowing a word he felt Asimov didn't know, the editor enunciated carefully, "meretricious." Whereupon Asimov replied, "And a happy new year to you."